Yeah, so here's my thoughts from my diary. Been thinking, of course, as usual, a lot about loneliness. And I read an article about loneliness and dementia. Seems to be some connection between loneliness and dementia. Well, surprise, surprise, folks. Of course, we've got dementia because we've got so much loneliness. Now, my counselor is just amazing. Listen to these two statements. She says, worry is just loneliness disguised as a thought. Just think about that. Worry is loneliness disguised as a thought. And another statement of hers, worry is just an outcrop of sadness. Isn't she amazingly articulate? Her expression is really beautiful. And yeah, so one other thing related to that is about anxiety. And I remember I just had to go to the physio for some dizziness. And he was very good. He went through his diagnosis procedures and he eventually got it down to my posture. Now, of course, I've got a curved back, and many people have a curved back. It's not uncommon, but especially at my age. But I've had it all my life, and I can remember Dad saying, "Oh, stand up straight, Donald. Smile." Well, yeah, standing up straight. It's to do with anxiety and not being relaxed. There's a tensing up of the frame. So that anxiety has been part of my personality really all my life. And the physio was able to tell me today that's why you're getting dizzy, because your spine is curved and it's causing the dizziness. So he's given me exercises to do. So yeah, Dad was right. I've been reading a lot recently, and it's fascinating to observe what happens when you bring a book into public space in Australia. A couple of times now, I've had comments about the book that I'm reading, and people look at me as if I'm weird. Well, mind you, of course, I go into a club last night. It's a jazz club, and I sit on my own at a table. And of course, there are lots of young people around, and they're all drinking and merry and so on. But we're watching live jazz, or in this case, blues. And this guy's with a group of people, and then he sees me reading my book, and it kind of upsets him so much that it becomes a talking point, having a book. So it's actually a conversation starter. I wasn't expecting that. He came over and said, "What are you reading your book for, mate?" Oh, yeah, yeah. Of course, he was half drunk, but he sat with me for a few minutes to try to find out why this weirdo was reading a book. Um, but yeah, of course, the other time that it was commented upon is I brought it into a Christmas party on Christmas Eve last week. I'd been at the last minute invited in, and there was a group of Mexicans, and they saw me with the book, and they all looked at me. What did you bring a book for? Well, of course, the reality is, what do they do? Especially the younger ones. You get in there, they sit down, they decide you're boring because you're either too old, or they don't know you, or they don't like you, or something. So they watch the television, or they play on their mobile phones. Well, that's why I bring my book. So actually, I said that to them. Well, I just brought it in case you don't want to talk to me. Well, then I'll just have something to do. Ha ha. I don't know whether they thought it was funny or not, but I did. That's for sure. Anyway, it wasn't just this one guy in the group who wanted to talk to me about the book. The girls insisted on me handing over the book and they inspected it all as if it was something they'd never seen before. And as usual, I've been thinking about friendships. And one of my Korean students was saying to me today, well, I've just decided that, friendships don't last forever. I enjoy them for however long they last, but I know they're going to end. And that's it. I try to just move on and forget about it, not be upset about it. And I think that's a very good attitude in a way. You need to take that attitude to survive. My attitude has been, I must say, to try and preserve the friendship for as long as possible, and to almost refuse to let it go. And I don't think that works either. I think it just maybe this lady's right. This is what you have to do. You have to accept that friendship is finite. For some reason I still resist it. I've definitely been resisting it all my life, but I am coming around to this idea. I just wonder, is it a millennial idea, this, or have people always had this idea that friendship was temporary? I don't know. Yes, another gem from my counselor is life is not fair. Very simple, very short, very true. But I keep resisting it. I keep trying to mold life to my will, to make it fair. I won't accept that it's not fair. Here are some more thoughts on the mass media. The assumptions that the media seem to have are that the public are stupid, gullible, that we're easily frightened, and that we should be treated like children. We should be patronized and condescended to. What I would like to do is take a class action against the mass media and sue them for the pain and distress they have caused uh, me and many other people in the world, because they are constantly frightening us, scaring us, overexciting us, and actually making us mentally ill. So I think I'd like to take a class action against them for the stress and distress they've caused. Finally, of course, the big assumption is that the public must be entertained. So everything must be entertainment, including news, including, yeah, even financial news, which must be the least entertaining of all things in the world. It all must be introduced with jingles and music and excitement. Even the news, in between each headline, we have jingles of music and orchestras trying to get us all excited. What is it? Why is our life so boring and dull that we need to be excited by this mass media? Why?